Hey y'all, welcome. I hope you guys are having a good day. Please hit that like button as you guys come in. Hit that like button, guys, please. Thank you very much. Today I actually want to talk about Shamia. I want to talk about how I feel like she exposed herself during this episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta. I will also talk about like other things that I feel like I caught and I really wanted to talk about when it comes to this particular episode. Um but I think I want to talk about the Shamia of it all. The Shamia of it all. First of all, I thought the conversation between Kelly and Shamia was very, very lackluster. Especially if you're calling somebody your new best friend, I would have expected a little bit more chemistry between them. I don't know if it's just me, but I kind of find their interactions very performative. I don't get the energy that there is that much. Yeah, I don't really get that much chemistry between them. I don't really get that much. Hold on, I think my YouTube is in the background. I don't really get that much chemistry between Kelly and Shamia. It's very much given, yeah, it's very much given like they're forcing themselves or they're forcing it on us a little bit. Like I have no doubts they're probably friends and whatnot, but I just don't think they have like a natural chemistry that I find entertaining to watch. Now, I may be the only one that feels this way, but I genuinely don't because I know some people like the whole Shamia and Kelly team up. But for me, I don't really find the scenes between both of them that enjoyable, if I'm being completely honest. Now, guys, hit that like button as you guys come in. That helps as a free way to support the channel. So if you like this type of content, hit that like button so that at least other people can find the content as well. Or hit that dislike button if you don't like what I'm saying, okay? Either way, it works. Now, back to Kelly and Shamia. I felt like Kelly was talking a little bit about what she was going through and how she's going through a divorce. I think what was interesting is she's talking about how she really needs a trip. And then Shamia then talks about, kind of makes it into like, yeah, the trip would be really good for us. I'm like, girl, first of all, your friend is out here talking about how she's going through a divorce and needs a trip. And then all of a sudden you've made it about you. Like, what are we doing? Like what is that about? Like you can't give it a moment and just be like yes, no, and empathize with her about the divorce without like turning it into what you want to do or how you feel like you need a trip. Like girl, please. Anyways, let's move on to the bit I really want to talk about. Well, certain parts I want to talk about, but I want to talk about Shamia going on a radio show to be shading Drew. Like Shamia, why do you have such a hard on for Drew? And I know a lot of people are, you know, shouting or talking about the fact that they feel like Shamia is a lap dog energy, all of that kind of stuff. But I think it's even beyond that. I think Shamia has certain unresolved feelings towards Drew. Is it because of Drew's music? Is it because you see Drew as a competitor in the music world? Like, what is it about Drew, Shamia, that keeps getting you pressed? Because it looks like you're pressed. Because how are you on a radio show meant to be promoting your music and other things that you have going on, but you're turning it into a Drew conversation? You're talking about lyrics to her songs. I don't even know the lyrics to her songs. So, baby, it's giving you a fan, Shamia. It's giving you a haterous fan. Like you're just out here being a hater, but you're also a fan. It's like a secret undercover hater and fan. That is what it's giving. And it's not a good look. I remember when Shamia first came on. I like Shamia. I've always loved her energy on the show as a friend of the show. And when she came on the first episode, um I was loving the wealth. I was loving what she was showing us. Of course, I did give certain criticisms about how she was coming across, but for me, my issue is How do you go to a radio show and make it about Drew? That is a problem. That shows that I don't know if there's some insecurity within yourself, within how you feel about yourself, but mama, it's not looking good. It's looking like you're a hater. It's looking like you're jealous of Drew's success in music. And I understand, right? You're trying to do something and someone is doing it. Okay, girl, clap for them so that hopefully yours will work out too. Ride for their music. You guys could have had a collaboration. You guys could have had a good song together. If you stop being a hater and genuinely support the person who is doing good in this season when it comes to music. I feel like it doesn't have to be like, oh, one person is the only person that can succeed in music. There is more than enough room for everybody. And I just wish that Shamia does not end up looking like a hater. Too bad she already looks like a hater, in my opinion, because of the way she's coming at Drew. Since episode 1, she's always been coming at Drew. Portia has not even confronted Drew. You're constantly, Drew, I heard this, Drew, I heard that. It's like, girl, rest, relax, chill. This ain't your fight. But now it's looking like even Drew and Portia are cool. It's given you still have a hard on. Because now, why are you talking about her music? Why do you know the lyrics to her music? Only to then shade her about the lyrics to her music. Like, girl, please relax. And so I just feel like she's overdoing it. I feel like she's performative. I feel like she thought that she was going to come on the show and be a fan favorite. And at first she was. But now that people are starting to know her, people are not feeling her. I remember, like, I looked in the comments and I was seeing people saying, oh, she's annoying now. She's this, she's that. And that's how things turn. And I wish that these housewives, when they come on the show, just choose to be themselves. I feel like having someone as a friend of the show for so long, I actually feel like there needs to be a rule. If you have been a friend of the show for so long, you should never get a peach. And the only reason I say this is because, do you guys remember Marlo? Marlo was a friend of the show for so long. We loved her on the show as a friend of the show. She brought good entertainment, good energy. It was lovely. I liked Marlo on the show as a friend of. Fast forward to her getting a peach, and I couldn't stand her. And so I feel like it's almost like because these people have spent so long performing, they've spent so long trying to make sure that they get a peach, overdoing it, doing too much. And I feel like because they spend so much time overdoing it, trying to get a peach, by the time finally get the peach, I feel like they're already in such a performative state. They feel like, yo, I need to keep this peach, so I have to do over and beyond. I have to do so much. I have to escalate things. And then you're just throwing dirt, throwing the mud, whatever sticks. That is what Shamia is now coming across as. It's coming across as she is just throwing whatever she can. And the best person to throw stuff at is Drew. Because Drew don't be having good enough comebacks, in my opinion, at least in the moment. Now, I will say, in the scene where it was at the Polo Classic, or what do they call it? Golf Classic or Community Class, whatever Brit's event was called. We'll talk about that event in a second. But whatever that event was called, at least Drew stood up for herself, which I'm glad that she did. But I feel like there's still so much more that Drew could have said. And I think Drew is keeping it cute. And I'm like, honey, I know you want to keep it cute because of course you do other things outside of the show and I'm completely here for it, but I still feel like you can still clap back and defend yourself from people like that. Now, that said, we'll talk about how Shamia behaved in a second. But I just think Shamia needs to quit it. Whenever she goes on interviews, stop talking about random people. Let people focus on the music you're trying to put out. Let people focus on what you bring to the table. But now that I think about it, please hit that like button as you guys come in. The likes are not matching the amount of people in this room. Guys, hit that like button, please. Thank you very much. Now, let's get back to what I was saying. I feel like the thing with Shamia that I'm starting to feel like is her downfall in this season. I feel like the fact that she cannot bring her husband on the show, I feel like that limits a lot of her stories. A lot of her storyline is limited. Imagine you're a housewife, but you can't show your housewife life. You can only show the wealth, but you can't show what your dynamic or what the dynamics are with your husband. That is a disservice because that's a huge part. Think about Angela. One of the reasons that Angela is bringing so much and we're loving Angela is because Angela also has her husband there. She has a storyline with her husband, Charles. She brought her mom on the show. So it's like, oh, and rest in peace to her mom. So sorry, Angela, about your loss, if you ever listen to this, right? But if you think about it like that, it's there are other layers to being a housewife that I feel like Angela is able to bring to the show, but Shamia is unable to bring that to the show. So if you're unable to film your home life, you can't film with your spouse. That is so much that you could have talked about on the show, but you can't. Think about it. Angela gets a lot of scenes with Charles. I've almost every episode she's had at least one scene with Charles. That adds to the story. That adds to the element of being able to engage. That adds to the whole experience that we get of Angela on the show. And so I feel that Shamia not being able to film with her husband is definitely limiting significantly her storyline. And I think that's why she's like pushing the whole Portia thing. And that's why now, if you notice from episode one, she was constantly in the mess. She was the one that brought the whole what are you doing with Dennis thing. She seems to be the one trying to stir the pot with a lot of these conversations. Because deep down, she knows she does not have any storyline. That is her storyline. The way she engages with the group is her storyline. Being everyone's best friend is the storyline. But I feel like there has to be a balance because you can't be out here constantly trying to be friends with everyone, constantly trying to kiki with everyone, and then pick on somebody like Drew because you feel like Drew is the easy target. Drew, honey, I'm gonna need you to put a little bit more batteries in your back. Or get somebody to put some batteries in your back. I need you to fight for yourself and defend yourself a little bit more on the show. And stop allowing these people to come for you. You are currently a peach holder now. I don't know how long that is going to last, but you're currently a peach holder, honey. So I'm gonna need you to put those batteries in your back and push back a whole lot more so people don't feel like you're an easy target that everyone can come at. It doesn't make any sense. Please hit that like button as you guys come in. Please hit that like button. So I do think that Shamia needs to give it a rest when it comes to Drew's music career. Honey, you don't even have an album out. So until you have an album that is doing as good as Drew is doing, I'm gonna need you to put a lid on it. Because at the moment it comes across as you're a hater. It comes across as you're being jealous. And it comes across as you're being mean-spirited. I was reading like some comments, and I know people, say a lot of different things, but some things I agree with. I was seeing some comments, and some people are talking about how they feel like Shamia is a disappointment. It's like excuse me, you started off like with all this energy, all of this, all of that, and then it feels like low key dipped. And it's worse because people start to forget how good you made them feel at the start. And then remember what happened recently. So, like for instance, Angela started off slow, but now everyone loves Angela towards the end of the show because of all that we remember the moments that she's now recently brought to us. That is what is at the forefront of our minds, not what she did at the start. That's why they say sometimes it's not about how you start, but how you finish. And at the moment, it's not looking like you're finishing strong. It's looking like you're finishing sad at the moment. And bear in mind, like I like Shamia. So, but I'm saying this more as what I am seeing when I watch the show, when I listen to her interviews, when I watch how she comes across. It's not looking good, bruv. It's giving you're exposing yourself as a hater. And nobody likes a hater. I know a lot of people were talking about Portia being jealous of Shamia, blah, blah, blah. Now, people are saying that Shamia is jealous of Drew. It's like how that turned around. Just like that. So now everyone thinks you're jealous of Drew because you can't stop talking about her music. And you're talking about like, yes, the rumor is overshadowing this. No, it really isn't. Because word on the street is Drew's album is really good. Now, if you guys have listened to Drew's album, let me know in the chat. But word on the street is the album is good. That's what I heard. So, but nobody is really talking about never had, never had. I don't even know the song, but that's the only line I know. But like, no one is really talking about that. Or maybe they are and I'm not seeing it. So you guys keep me straight in the comments. But it's not looking good for you. Now let's talk about this freaking sorry ass event that break through. Now, Brit, here's the thing. Brit, how do you have an event without food? How dreadful. Event without food. Like, it doesn't look good. Why invite those people? Why? It's given, are they paid actors? Why invite them anyway? Like, if you knew that you could only cater to the people on that table, then you should have only had the people on that table. Make it a thing. Have those people on the table. Invite all of the people, all of the girlies, have a nice dinner. They can bring their husband, give them some food, drink champagne constantly. I could have paid for that event. Looking like that. But having an event where some guests are eating and some guests are not eating is the ghetto. Even actually, it's a disrespect to ghetto. I'm sorry, ghetto. No, it's absolutely beyond dreadful. I've never been to an event where there's food for some and not food for others. That is wild. If you knew you couldn't do a party or throw an event, you should have limited the number of people you want to invite to the event. It's stupid. It doesn't look good. And it was interesting because even being there, whilst you're distributing your products and the others are not getting anything, I looked around and I saw someone's face. I saw if you guys go back and watch the episode, there was this lady's face. She looks like, what the hell did I sign myself up for? Why am I here? Is the vibe that person got. That's what she looks like. You could have just made it an intimate thing. It would have been so classy. You wouldn't have spent so much money on it, but the champagne would be constantly flowing. Food for the number of people you want the food to be for. That could have been good. But instead, you decided to have extras, but not be able to cater for extras. That is terrible. If it was a Nigerian party, honey, people will not stop talking about it. They will drag you from left, right, center about you having a party without food. Not to talk of a situation where the food finishes. Like, girl, what do you think this is? If you can't throw a party, then stay at home. Nobody forced you to bring out bare naked and have a bare naked party with people that, with more people than you can afford to have an event for. Now, I don't know if it's affordability. I don't know if it's like not thinking through things properly. Whatever the case may be, it's not good. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that again. Having a party without food is blatantly crazy to me. Like, you could have kept that and just said, no, bravo, I don't have the budget or something. That's crazy work. You can't pay me enough to have a party without food just for TV. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Absolutely not. Now, let's move on to talk about Angela, Britt, and Charles. That was a very awkward scene, in my opinion. And I say that because Angela, baby, you like to stir it up, in my opinion. Now, of course, you're good for reality TV, but you like to stir it up because why else are you talking about your husband in front of him and the girlies? He looks like this is so awkward. Like, why am I here? Why? That's what it looks like. Like, is it necessary to be talking about the girlies or to be talking in front of the girlies and talking in front of Charles about Charles? She was literally like, well, Charles doesn't have an outside baby. I'm like, girl, I thought you lot done talked about it. You've settled it. Why do you have to say it in front of Charles and bring that to the table? That was just distasteful for me. It completely felt like it was very left field. It was very like, where did that even come from? Like, honey, why? I was Drew when I was watching that. Because Drew's face was like, huh? That was me. I was like, girl, that is crass. Very, very crass. Please hit that like button as you guys come in. I'm just talking about the latest episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta. So hit that like button. Thank you very much. Okay. So I was just like, that is so crass. Like, I'm not going to be in front of my man and then I'm going to talk about, like, yeah, my man does not have a baby. Like, girl, what? We already talked about it. We don't moved on from it. Unless I'm having a, like, it just seemed very left field. Now, it could have been that, like, it wasn't so random and there was conversation that led up to it, but it felt very abrupt. I don't know if it's also partly to do with the editing, because you know how allegedly these people like to edit a lot. So who knows? Maybe it could be something like that. Whatever the case may be, it was very awkward, very abrupt. I felt like it just didn't need to be there in that moment. So yeah, I'm not a fan of that. Now, after that did happen though, Brit then took it to another level, which I just don't get. So Brit was like, well, I'm not one of your whores or Charles's whores. And then Charles was like, I don't mess with whores. I'm like, first of all, can I even say whores on YouTube? I hope so. Um, but I'm not gonna say it again. Hopefully. But Charles was like, he doesn't mess with the W's, right? So he's like, I do not mess with those. And it was just unnecessarily awkward because I was just thinking, like, what are we doing, guys? This is ridiculous. Now, Brit and Angela did squash it. I will say about Brit, the fact that this lady told you got miles on your mouth and you were able to squash it like that, it's testament that you may be okay in my book. You may be okay for another season of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Now, I need to see more of you to see if we really can take your nasal sounding voice another season. But I like when people can move the story along. Instead of having a whole season of beef about you saying the miles on your mouth comment, right? I love that she was willing to squash it and move on. Because I feel like that really helps move the show forward. I hate unnecessary, dragged out beefs that brings nothing to the show. Like, I'm annoyed by the whole not Brit, Drew and Portia and Dennis nonsense. I feel like it's been dragged out way too long, for way too long. It's ridiculous. And so for me, I just love the fact that Drew, why do I keep saying Drew? Brit was just like, sure, like, let's squash it. Cool. And that was it. I feel like now that it would be very interesting to see what the relationship will be with Angela and Brit moving forward. I suspect maybe Brit knows I can't really mess with Angela because I do not want her saying anything wilder than I have miles in my mouth. Okay. So I suspect Brit will be on her best behavior. I think I just wonder whether Brit is better as a friend of the show rather than a full-time cast mate or cast member, because I was watching like the after show, right? And Portia and Pheadra were keying and laughing and getting along. And Brit was barely there, in my opinion. It was almost like she was there but wasn't there. Please hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button. The likes are still not matching. Please hit that like button. So it was given like Brit was barely there. I was like, girl, how are you like hidden? Like, anybody see that you're there? Like, what is going on? Is it that you don't have enough of a personality? Like, what is it? Or do you feel like the fact that you're a pretty girl has allowed you to be in certain rooms all of the time that you feel like you don't ever have to say anything and your face is enough? Now, I will say that face card is beautiful. She is a gorgeous woman. Her and Drew Sidora, those women are beautiful. Now, all of them are beautiful in their own rights, but I want to talk about Drew Sidora and Brit's face card today. Okay, they are gorgeous women. And so maybe Brit has grown up feeling like she never really has to like talk. She just has to be there and her beauty is enough. But baby, you're going to have to do a lot more than be beautiful to stay on a show like this, in my opinion. Because your good looks, your good face is not going to do that much for you. I hate to say it. Yes, of course, there's always pretty privilege. I get it. But at the same time, it is not going to do much for you in the long term because you already had it with Kenya. So people already don't like you. So unless you bring something extra likable, something, a nice vibe, something that people can genuinely look at and be like, okay, Brit is okay in my book. Unless you bring that energy, people are not going to be messing with you. So for you to be in scenes or anything where you're barely visible, nobody knows who Brit is, nobody knows what Brit brings to the dynamic, to all of that. People don't like that. Nobody likes that. And so, Brit, I'm gonna need you to clock in. Baby, your pretty face is not gonna do it. I need you to clock all the way in. Please and thank you if you want to stay on the show. I will say, I still haven't gotten over the way she sounds. If I'm being completely honest, I struggle with the nasal sounding voice. I wish that there is something that she can do to open her airways a little bit so we can hear her. Because I think that also adds to it. Because it's like, girl, you're fine, but I'm going to need you to be able to speak clearly so we can engage. But aside that, she's all right so far. I just need her to bring it on the show. Now, before I respond, let me pick up this comment. I believe Angela was like, now you can bring it up, Charles, since they talk so much about the side baby. Yeah, beyond my own thoughts, I actually agree. I like your name, by the way, but I actually agree with you. I feel like there's an element of Angela is like, yeah, these people are always talking about you. Let me bring it up. I get it, but I still think like there's a way to bring it up. This one just seemed very It seemed very directed, almost like it was directed by freaking production, honey. That is what it was given. It was so random. The way it was brought was so like hella weird, man. So it caught me by surprise. I was just there like, okay, girl, like that is very distasteful the way that was like added into the conversation. For me, that's just what I felt. Um, but I will say, like, so far Angela is clocking in. I do not have any complaints about Angela. I will say, you guys already know how I feel about how she likes to stare the pot and stuff, but it's good for the show. What can I say? It brings the people to the yard, right? It makes us watch the show because so far this season has not given much. If we're being completely honest, this season has not given what it needed to give. It's not given what I would have thought they would have promised us, because when they were talking about, oh, this season is so good. Okay, girl. I well, it's not looking like it is. It's not looking like it, is it? Is it that good? It's not giving that. So that's why I say, when I feel like every time they hype these seasons and they make it seem like, oh, it's going to be so good and it's going to be so this and it's going to be so that. And then you watch it and it's such a bore, it's such a drag. And I feel like that's what I'm getting from this season. Yeah, I feel like it's all right, but it's not like I'm not excited about the season so far. I'm just there like, okay, the girls are doing okay. Angela is doing all right. I feel like I miss having happy Portia. I need Portia to get her life together so she can be the happy girl I love over here on YouTube. Shamia, girl, it's like, what are you doing? Now you had the folks falling in love with you in the first episode. Now the folks don't like you anymore because you're doing entirely too much. You're too performative. People are not buying the Kool-Aid anymore or drinking the Kool-Aid anymore. So I'm just like, girl, it ain't looking good for you, bruv. It really isn't looking good. Um, but if I let me digress a little bit. Things beyond my own thoughts for engaging. But yeah, let me digress a little bit. Let's talk about Shamia and Drew for a second. What did you guys think about the Shamia and Drew situation? I want to know. Let me know in the chat. What did you think about the Shamia and Drew situation? I feel, this is my opinion, and I know some of y'all may feel like I'm dragging Shamia too much or whatever. And the thing is, I wish I don't have to, but I have to call things as I see it. Now, is Drew wrong for calling Shamia a lapdog? Absolutely. Nobody likes to be called a lapdog. I completely get how well, I don't completely get it because ain't nobody called me a lap dog, but I can imagine how Shamia feels about being called a lap dog. It must not feel nice. I get it. I don't get it, but I empathize. Okay. But I feel like Shamia lost a good opportunity. She took it entirely too far. When Drew started to say, this is how I felt. This is the reason that I said what I said, right? Drew was saying, like, yeah, she felt like it was something that was positive that she said at the studio, but Shamia took that to Portia and made it and put some sauce in it, right? Now, Drew, I don't think it was positive, baby. I'm not slow. I don't think the viewers are slow. We know it was a little shady, okay? So cut that out. We know it was a little shady, but you're allowed to feel how you feel, right? Because you're thinking, why are you going to go and take that to Portia, especially when you did not like that we took information. Well, Drew didn't even take the information, Angela did, right? That Shamia was saying about Portia. So it's like, girl, how you finna be upset and then take information like this to Portia and not, and put some sauce in it. So I get where Drew is coming from, but I don't think Drew is innocent either. Because Drew, baby, there was no reason for you to bring Pilar into it. You could have left Pilar out of that and said all you wanted to say about the music. So I feel like, Drew, you're doing too much. It's the same way I feel like you constantly talking about Dennis, your angel. You knew what you were doing. You set it up in that way. So I feel like you acting like, oh, it's all innocent and Portia wanted a storyline. I feel like you all needed a storyline, in my opinion. It's given you all needed a storyline. And that's what it was about. Now, back to this whole lapdog business. So, like I said, I get it. You want to confront the person that called you a lapdog. I get it. But girl, how the heck do you get upset about being called a lapdog and then start behaving like a dog? Why are you barking? It's like, girl, why are you barking? It is not landing. And this is what I was saying in when I did the first episode. I believe when I talked about the first episode and when Shamia was on, I said I really like her and stuff, but there's some things that I'm like, it feels like she's doing too much. And I feel like this is an example of doing entirely too much. What was the reason? All I can think about is the meme. What was the reason? What was the reason? That is exactly how I feel, Shamia. What was the reason? How you gonna be side face, barking, telling her to kiss your MF ass, B, because she is trying to take accountability for what she said and explain to you how she felt? Girl, that could have been a genuine kiki moment. Okay, girl, I do not like being called a lapdog. I don't think you would like it if I called you that. Or if I called, do you get? You could have said that. It could have been a good moment. You guys could have squashed it. We could have moved on. But no. Instead, you decided to be a child about it and act out. To the point where Portia, that was sitting right next to you, was like, I'm out. Portia left early. Cynthia left early because Cynthia did not want to be bothered with the BS. Cynthia was probably like, I just got out of a plane ride to Atlanta to be here, and this is the circus that I'm in. Please, I'm out. They don't pay me well enough for this ish. That's probably Cynthia in her mind thinking like, girl, I got to go. Same as Portia, they clocked out. They did not want no part of the ghetto ish. Okay, they did not want to be part of the circus. And that's what I say when I say Shamia does too much. There was no need for the barking. There was no need. That could have been a, okay, girl, I do not like being called a lapdog. That is terrible. Don't ever do that. And if you do that again, I will be pissed at you. You could have said that. You could have had strong words. You could have said how it made you feel. But instead, you decided to act like exactly what you were being called. Sis, that is a disservice to you, honey. And I hope you watch this season back and sit down and take accountability. I hope you do. But I doubt that you would. And I say that because when the whole thing got to Portia about what you were saying about her, you did not take accountability. Instead, you kind of gaslit all of us, including Portia, to make it seem like I would never put our friendship on the line to be talked about. Girl, you did. Every time they play it back to that scene, I always say, girl, you did. Like, are you delusional or what? So I just feel like, yeah, Shamia, baby. I like you, girl, but I need you to watch this season back and think about how you want to show up in the next season. Because whatever you're doing, baby, this ain't it. It is not looking good for you. Please hit that like button, guys. It is not looking good. Okay? So that's how I feel about that. Now, the other thing I do want to talk about is Freak and Frack. Okay, so Freak and Frack are back. Oh, also, there's something else I want to talk about with you guys about Drew. You guys may have seen that on social media. We'll come back to that in a second. But Drew is out here with Ralph. Girl, I have a lot of thoughts about it, but we gonna watch it together and we'll talk about it in a second. But let's talk about Freak and Frack for a second. Okay, Freak and Frack. I feel like I know they said that they've kept in touch and all of that. I don't know about that. I feel like, yeah, they probably kept in touch on social media, but I don't really think that they've been speaking like friends, because I don't think the chemistry was really chemistrying in that scene as much as I would expect. Okay. Now, it could be that, bear in mind, both of them have been off camera for a while. So it may be a little bit, they probably don't want to do too much. It may also be a little bit of a like a learning experience for Phaedra. It's been a while since actually technically she's been filming other shows, so maybe not. But I feel like maybe there's a little bit of like a, yeah, like they're cool and all, but I feel like it's definitely given they have not seen each other in a while. Okay. So the energy is still a little bit frosty. Now, am I saying that they won't get it together and probably give us like the freak and frack that we know and love or whatever? They probably will give us that soon enough. But for now, that episode or that scene that they did gave not much for me. Now, Phaedra did eat a lot of the girls in the confessionals, I will say that. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she would bring that would be different from what we've seen already. I feel like genuinely what I would like to see is more fun. I feel like these girlies is coming across as everyone is so stuck up right now. Everybody is so obsessed with trying to act like they're in this like, oh, I'm rich, like Kelly. I feel like Kelly's really trying to portray this whole I'm so rich kind of vibe, when it's like, girl, we know what's happening on social media allegedly. Okay, so we're not really buying the lifestyle that these people are trying to give us. Same as like with the Brits and the golf course. It's like, girl, you look like you ain't never been in a golf course on a golf course ever in your life, because you do not even know what you're doing, right? So it's like, are you guys trying to give us a lifestyle that you guys don't even live? And that is why I feel like there is a disconnect. I feel like this new season with the Real Housewives or the Housewives or whatever you want to call them, I feel like it's given very performative. Everyone wants to perform for the cameras. No one wants to really show what their real life is like. Nobody wants to show who they are. It's just performative. Honestly, that is the best way I can explain it. Is absolutely performative, nothing else. And so I just wish that instead of it being performative, show your real life. Most people fall in love with authentic people. People like, no matter how boring you are, like, chances are that you will find your people, you will find your tribe. So I just think that I personally wish that there was a little bit more honesty, transparency, a little, yeah, just give us, let's just be honest. What is going on in your life? You don't have to like pretend for us. You don't have to like, act like everything is all good in the hood. And I think that's why another reason why people seem to be loving Angela is because they feel like Angela so far compared to everyone else is a little bit more forthcoming than the rest of the newbies. The newbies, it's given like everyone is just trying to pretend to be something they are not. Okay, this C. Hey girl, good morning. Hope you're well. And yeah, good morning everyone. Pardon my manners. I don't even think I said good morning to y'all, but you guys know, like, some days I just get on here, I'm like, all right, let me just like talk to you guys and stuff. Do you know what it is also? I have a Pilates class at like very soon. So I'm just like, I can't be online too long, but I can still hang with you guys like another maybe 20-30 minutes before I have to head out. But yeah. Okay. Take Atlanta Housewife off the air. It's two thumbs down. Ooh. Okay, girl. Down the season. For me, everybody attacking Drew for what? But I love Angela Oakley. Build a show around Kelly, Drew, and Angela. Sorry, I just had to drink water. Sorry, I have to moisturize my throat. Mm-mm. Okay. So, okay. So, interesting. I think, yeah, Housewives is not really bringing anything this season. I'm with you on that. Um I do agree that everyone keeps attacking Drew, and I feel like I get it in the sense that they feel like Drew is an easy target. Think about it. If you come somewhere and you see, like, they already know Portia likes to fight, allegedly. Okay. So they know that they're not going to be tussling with peach juice. Think about Angela. Angela basically said someone has miles on her mouth. So they know Angela is a sport, honey. Angela is going to be out here like ready to rumble. So I feel like everybody knows they can't touch those two. Cynthia is a friend. Ain't nobody touching her. She's just here, chilling and whatnot. So out of all of them, no one is really like, if you take those people out of the table, then who else are you going to really attack? In my opinion, Drew. And so I think that is why everyone seems to be attacking Drew. Um because she's an easy target. That's what I would say. Girl, I'm with you though. I like Angela too. I think Angela is shady. She is messy. She is a little bit of a flip flopper, in my opinion. But I like her because I feel like I like what she brings to the show. I don't think she does, or she's on the show acting like anybody is her friend. I think she has an alliance with Drew, because she doesn't like how Drew's being picked on, and she feels like Drew can't really stand for herself like that. So I think that's more what that is. But yeah, I like Angela as well. Now, I will say this, sis. I don't know about building a show around Kelly, Drew, and Angela. In my opinion, I feel like it's going to be a flop. Angela, I feel like, yes, Angela brings something to the show. But think about it, right? Angela's interaction with Charles brings something to the show. Angela's interaction when she's active brings something to the show. But outside of that, when she's just there present, like, I almost forgot about her in the scene today. In this last episode, right? Like, there wasn't much in terms of like the interactions that really stuck with me until she's activated, right? So I just don't see Kelly, Drew, and Angela bringing much to the show as a unit, to be completely honest. I think Drew is probably going to be all about her music. Drew is not going to clock in. Drew still, I like Drew, by the way, let me say this, but I don't think Drew has clocked in like that. Drew has such a storyline that if she was clocked in, girl, we will be all over Drew. But I don't think that I don't think, I like Drew and I hate to say it, but I don't think that Drew necessarily is fitting in or meshing well with the people right now. I feel like if Drew and Portia were back on the ins, I feel like things may work out a little bit better for her, because I feel like Drew kind of works better when there's like an ensemble of other people that bring more to the show. I don't think a show around Kelly, Drew, and Angela will do it. It would be a flop, personally, right? Now, what I think, the people that I think would be a good match for a new season would be people like, I know Portia is not necessarily in the best of sort of like a mental state at the moment because of like what she was going through with Simon at the time. Yeah, I agree with you. The new season of Real Housewives is not it at all. And I think you're saying brain work is saying exactly, I guess, to what I'm saying. So I would say here are the people that I think may do a really good job. Portia, Angela, those two together, chef's kiss. Did you guys notice, not this episode, the last episode, the second to last episode, so the one before this one? Did you see their energy when they went bowling with Cynthia? Even in the confessionals, they both gave us entertainment. They both have it, right? So if you have an ensemble around Portia, Angela, right? you can even like put Drew in for razzle dazzle, but I wouldn't build it around her, right? The focus would be more Portia, Angela, right? They would bounce off each other quite well, right? And then you can bring in, well, we know, well, I don't want to say Nini because we know that's a little bit, it's a little bit sticky at the moment. But if they brought Nini in, especially because Nini and Portia are not in the ins right now, that could be entertainment. Okay? Think about it. Portia, Nini, Angela, and then you bring Phaedra into it, right? For the underhanded, shade, confessional gangster ish, shady, fake ish, right? Add a little bit of razzle dazzle into Real Housewives of Atlanta, bring that underhanded shadiness, right? So Nini, Portia, Phaedra, Angela. Think about it, right? Now they could even add Drew, right? But I wouldn't build, like I said, I wouldn't build it around Drew, but they could add Drew. I personally don't think Kelly brings that much to the show. I like Kelly's scenes with her family, but I think outside of that, most times at group events, I forget she is there. And this is the thing. If I can forget that you are there at group events, then I'm like, I don't know if you're doing enough on the show to be on the show, right? And then they can add two new people, right? Dynamic women who are actually housewives, who are willing to show their lives, their husbands, their family, everything, right? If you do all of that and you bring Kenya back, they would have a hell of a show. They would have a cast that is committed, that will clock in. They will do great things. They will do amazing things. Yep, I agree. Building it around Portia, absolutely. And then think about it, Nini and Portia are on the outs, so they're gonna be fighting, and then they'll squash you because they've always had this little sister, big sister thing, right? And then Kenya and Portia, no matter how kiki they get, they would always go at it at some point, right? So you can get some Portia and Kenya shade and stuff. Portia is going to be lighthearted, it's going to be funny. And then we're going to be out here with Phaedra making the faces and in the confessionals giving us a little bit extra entertaining business. Of course, it's going to be vibes. I would pay to watch that. Maybe not pay, but I would be absolutely there to watch it. I would be ready to watch that. And the reason also, brain work, I agree with you. The reason also I say Kenya is because Kenya understands the assignment. I know Kenya took it too far with Edie and all of that. I get it. But I feel like Kenya understands the assignment in the sense that Kenya knows how to stare up ish. Kenya knows how to hold her own. Kenya can read as well. So I feel like it would bring enough entertainment that we're just like having a good time watching the show, engaging, loving Real Housewives of Atlanta, right? And then they can bring those, like I said, two new housewives who have husbands and are not going through divorces. I mean, they are happily married, please, okay? Or at least committed to their marriages, right? So no divorces, please. No more divorce storylines. And then show their family, make sure it's like an entertaining family, ideally like a housewife who has such a big family with a lot of big personalities as well, that can add a little bit of razzle dazzle into it. So those are some of the people that I feel like Real Housewives genuinely can do. They need to stop casting the people that they think, oh yeah, they're popular, blah blah blah. Because I'm not being funny. Shamia got the peach, but thinking about Shamia, if you can't show your life with your husband and all these different things, what are you going to show? And I think maybe Real Housewives of Atlanta, the production network, needs to be thinking about these things when they're casting the people. Think about it. I personally feel like Portia would be a good addition because when there is a good ensemble cast, she is very entertaining. Even like the scene with her and Cynthia, she was there kicking, laughing, and apparently there was a lot that they didn't even show, and apparently it was a vibe. They shouldn't have edited that out. They should have given us some comic relief. I feel like that would have brought so much entertainment to this season. Instead, they cut it out. And then they're giving us contrived scenes about Dennis and Drew, and nobody cares. We do not care. Absolutely, I agree. I think Kenya will bring the drama. Kenya will stir ish up. Kenya will have us out here like, okay, on our toes. And Kenya will keep the ladies working. I feel like part of why we're not seeing Portia thrive as much is because she is in a cast where a lot of the people are not even stars, or they're not. I don't want to say they're not stars, they're starless, like Nini would say, but they're not really bringing it. So it's like if you're at a workplace, you're doing your job, and everyone around you ain't even clocking in. You're just like, please, why am I here? I gotta clock in too. Like, what? Why do I have to do much? I just feel like everyone isn't clocking in. Angela is clocking in, but the rest of the girlies are not. The rest of the girls are not. So I just think everybody needs to clock in, and remember, you need the check. Or maybe it's the fact that these people don't need the check no more, and that's why these people are not clocking in. Brainwork says Kelly, Shamia, and Brit bring nothing. I hate to agree with you, but I do. I really do, because I actually, one of the things I love about like covering shows is I'm I genuinely leave it open, right? I tend to be like, okay, I like everybody, or not have any personal like opinions on everybody. I just like give them everyone a blank slate, right? And when I give everyone a blank slate, it allows me the opportunity to really get to know whether or not I like somebody for them, or whether or not I feel like somebody's a good fit, because I'm relatively neutral, right? Because I'm like, I like everything about somebody, right? But the way I'm looking at Kelly, Shamia, and Brit, I'm like, what? You guys are not doing anything. Like, what are we doing? Please clock in. Kenya was definitely missed. I agree. I completely agree. I think that, and the funny thing is, I've never really been a Kenya stan or anything, but I do agree. I think that she brings something to the show that nobody has been able to replicate or bring. And the gap is showing. It really is showing. It is showing. Okay. I want to make sure I don't miss any of your comments. Let's see. But she needs a timeout. There should be consequences. I agree. And I think this is her timeout. But if I'm being completely honest, I think that the value of Kenya has never really been seen by production. I feel like even this season, allegedly, word on the street was that they didn't even want to bring her back. And that it was more of a, let's add her to it, as opposed to like, oh, we want Kenya back. So when you think about it like that, it's like being at a job where they don't really value you. It's easy for them to really get rid of you because they don't value you. So I really, I think they don't really value Kenya, if I'm being honest. I'm glad Faye is back. I'm glad as well, but I honestly feel like I don't know how much that is really going to bring, because she was genuinely only there for 2 weeks. Only 2 weeks. But I do think because it's her first season back, she is probably going to clock in, because she needs to make sure that they continue to call her back. And I know Andy loves himself some Pheadra, and I'm glad for that. But Faye, I need you to really clock in, because if not, you're going to be out in the streets too. But she needs some heavy weights to make it entertaining. Yep, I agree. I completely agree with you. I think that's another thing, right? With Portia can only be, Portia is entertaining by herself, absolutely. But I feel like if there is no opportunity for her personality to even be showing, then it's not really going to come through. Like even with the conversation, the side conversation she was having with Shamia, I was entertained. I wish that that went on because that could have been more entertaining than what we were subjected to seeing, if I'm being honest. But I do agree she needs other people. It's like you can't be by yourself, right? Trying to garner that energy and stuff. I feel like the OGs, one of the reasons they work so well was they're always bouncing off each other. When you're in a cast with people that bring it, you generally bring it as well because it's like you guys bounce off each other's energy and you already have a synergy going on. With the new people, there were too many newbies. It's like you're trying to get into a chemistry with these people that you don't know, never really hung out with before, and you're trying to mesh or whatever. So sometimes that doesn't come across quite well. Um Bring back Nini, sis. If they could, I really hope that they bring back Nini if they can. But I feel like they might have to because so far this new season is looking like a flop. Sorry to say it, but it ain't looking good. And Kenya is like 2 seasons down. Yes, girl. I don't even know if they're going to ever bring Kenya back or if they're going to wait for maybe a few years or so before they bring Kenya back. That is also possible because nothing is impossible if they're bringing back Feifei. After everything that has happened, that has went down, and they're bringing back Phaedra, honey, there is hope for anybody. There is hope. So it is possible that other people can be added to the mix, or even like people like Nini can be brought back. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Live by Design says, I'm disappointed in Shamia. I agree. Now, I'm curious as to why you're disappointed with Shamia, though. So let me know in the chat, why are you disappointed with Shamia? Because I have my feelings and I've spoken to you guys about some of it so far, but I'm curious, what are your thoughts about Shamia? Okay, let me see. She says she's still bringing supporting cast, but also added vulgarity. Ooh, I agree. So I feel like Shamia is not bringing main cast energy. You're right. It's almost like I said it's almost like she kind of fades in the background. You almost forget that she is there, which makes me wonder, is that why she likes being tied to somebody? Is that why she likes being tied to Portia? Because Portia has a big energy, right? Portia has big energy, and it's very easy when you have big energy and you're not very good at like steering the ship yourself to attach yourself to someone with a big personality that you can bounce off of. And so I wonder maybe that is what it is. And I agree with you about the vulgarity and the bad fashions is another thing I'm going to add to it. I think the vulgarity is like, girl, you're taking it, you are declassing the show. It is too much. And I feel like the vulgarity also, it's like, girl, what are we doing? This is not high school, mama. Like, chill. It's not that serious. And I feel like she takes things entirely too far when they don't need to be too far, and she comes across as very performative, which I don't think is landing well with the audience. I would say it's clearly not landing well with me. So, as one of the people that are watching, I will also say that I feel like at first when we didn't see enough of her gaslighting and the mess, we liked her, right? We thought, oh, fun girl, blah, blah, blah. But every interview, she shows us why we really should be side eyeing her. She dresses so bad that it's like, girl, it's so tacky. It's like someone who feels like, oh, they wear designers, but then it's like, okay, girl, I understand wearing designer is cool. Yeah, wear your designer, but the way you pair it matters. The way you pair it matters. You have to be able to pull the looks together. If not, you look like trash. And then someone that doesn't spend as much ends up looking way better than you do. And that is not on. So, baby, I'm gonna need you to get it together. You can be down to earth without being vulgar. Act your class, okay? Period. You done said it. She needs people who can match her talent. Absolutely. Are you talking about Portia in terms of like the funny, lighthearted vibe? Let me know. Yes, the dressing like Shamia. Come on now, you have the money, sis. This is what gets me every time. I'm like, you have too much money to look the way you look. And the way you look is a problem for me. You shouldn't look like that when you have that much money. Sorry, not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. You can't be out here looking like you are broke when you have more money than most people on that show, if not all. So I'm gonna need y'all to get it together. And it's okay if you can't dress. That's fine. That's what stylists are there for. That's why you go and get yourself a stylist. It's okay. Even people that can dress have stylists. So, like, not to talk of you who can't put the outfits together. No, ma'am. And even the so-called outfit that she said when she was talking about, like, oh, my husband is African, girl, please. I am African myself. And if you see me out here in these streets, I always pair those outfits really well, honey. And my money is not that long yet. Yet, you know? Well, it is, but it is by faith, okay? Let's Shamia's personality hype man, that's why she can't let go of Portia. Period. I wish I could like this comment 20 times. I completely see that because it's like when you see her at that so-called event, right? When you heard her, was her keying to what Portia was saying. It's like all of a sudden you're bouncing off and keying about what Portia is saying, but it's like without you, what are you doing? Like by yourself. I mean, need you to bring it. You know, channel something. Half our identity would be gone without Portia. Completely agree. Completely agree. And that's why, I've said about it how sometimes when you have certain friendships from when you're young, if you don't have your identity outside of that friendship, you are going to struggle. And I feel like she is in that struggle phase because she has been attached to the apron strings of Portia for so long. And it's like, now, who are you? Who are you without her? Who are you without her energy for you to bounce off of? Who are you without riding on anything that she has, her opportunities? Not saying that she doesn't have her opportunities as well. I'm just saying it's almost like she likes being a pair because why else are you now sort of, oh, hey, bestie to freaking Kelly? How long have you known her for? It's like someone that has an innate or weird need to be attaching themselves to somebody. Why? Yeah, absolutely. The sorry guys, let me drink water. Oh, I don't talk myself into coughing. Give me a second. Okay. Yeah, I think partly is because I'm dehydrated. So I went to the gym this morning. I did like 3 hours at the gym. Then I went on a 1 hour and 30 minutes walk. And then I'm going to Pilates this evening. So I feel like my body is like, girl, please give it a rest. Anyways, sorry about that. So yeah, I think Portia and Phaedra, I'm really excited to see their energy because even at the after show, you could tell they're back to being frick and frack. There is a lot of like energy back and forth now, and things are going so well between them. I think that first scene of them coming back, or first I was like, oh, it's a little awkward, but I feel like they've started getting their rhythm. Girl, one thing African people, especially Nigerian, know how to do is dress all the way up. Have you seen Nigerian weddings, honey? We be dressing all the way up. We do not play. And also, even like, even entertainment events in Nigeria, if you see the way these people dress up, they be putting the looks together. And they probably don't have as much money. Well, some do because the money is long too. But some may not even have as much money as Shamia. But the way the looks be hitting, we know how to put a look together. So I need her to learn from those people. Because if you're out here trying to be like, I'm African, I'm African, I'm African, you need to come in with the fashions, honey. Fashions. How many of you guys have seen Young, Famous, and African? Young, Famous, and African, some of them be giving some looks, right? But it's nothing to be compared to like Nigerian weddings, honey. So, girl, we do not support the looks that Shamia has been given. Please get it together. Yes, very codependent. I've had friends like this. It's impossible to get rid of them. Absolutely. Completely agree with that. I've had friends like that before as well. But luckily, some of them do grow out of it eventually after like a bit of a break in the relationship where you're like, okay, girl, like you need to find yourself outside of me, kind of thing. And I think, yes, it is possible to get out of it. But you have to be aware that you're even in it to actually move around, you know. But yeah, I've just had one try to move in with me against my wishes. I had to block her. Oh my gosh, that is crazy. The person is out here trying to live with you. Like, that is not a good sign. They would be out here in the middle of the night, staring you down, like trying to do something crazy to you. So please avoid them. It's funny also, they be like trying to push things to get so serious. Like, we're just friends. Why do you want to move in so quickly? You don't even know if I'm a little crazy. Like, why do you want to live with me? You know, these people are crazy, man. Girl, I've been to a couple Nigerian weddings and lived for them. Absolutely. It's a vibe. Honestly, the food is a vibe, the outfits. Guys, when I tell you that I miss Nigeria, I need to visit Nigeria soon. If I don't go to Nigeria soon, I might just be too upset. Because I'm just like, I need to go to Nigeria. I need to eat. I need to be out here partying. I need to go for Dirty December because that's Dirty December is a vibe. And it's been a couple of years since I've been. So hopefully I should go soon. Brainwork said, yes, I love them. Yes, girl. Like, Nigerian weddings are the ish. Live by design. My Nigerian friends used to bring me back cheap clothes looking better than designers. Absolutely, girl. Like, when, sis, most times, even when I go out and I don't have, like, I don't really be buying designer, like, I don't buy a lot of designer, let me put it that way. But when I'm out, people are like, where is this from? Where is this from? Where is that from? And I'm like, oh girl, it's just right here. Let me send you the link. And then just like, oh my God, I thought it was it was expensive. I'm like, don't worry, you just need to know how to wear it, right? And also, like, it's all about like how you wear things. Even there was even a point where people were like really feeling my outfits, and then I was like, I'm a stylist. Next thing, I'm out here styling people and getting money from styling. So it's just like, girl, we know how to put clothes together. Um, this being codependent affects the host friend too because they don't respect boundaries. They want to be with you all the time. Completely agree. I feel like I don't like when people don't respect boundaries. It's like, girl, you need to cut it out. I don't want to be out here constantly on the phone to you. Yeah, it's well and cute sometimes when I'm not busy, but girl, when I gotta work, I have to do things. Like, you have to respect my boundaries. I don't have time or energy or all of that for that. So please. But yeah, these things, man. I'm not Nigeria, but Dirty December is on my bucket list. Girl, you have to go. When I say, even for me, Dirty December was so good. I went like a couple of years ago, maybe like 4 to 5 years ago. And I had so much fun. I literally called my mom and I was like, oh, I think I want to move to Nigeria. And I was like, girl, please, do you have a job? I said, no. She's like, I'll see you on Monday. The way I cracked up, but got my head together and realized that, girl, you ain't living in Nigeria. Please get your ass back to England. But yeah, Definitely recommend. It was so nice. Like literally there's parties almost every day, if not every day. There's so many like nice beaches as well. The food is good. There's so many fashion events. There's comedy events happening in December. You have so much to do. It's like you just got to go with stacks, cuz I know people be thinking like Nigeria ain't expensive, but when you want to go to all the right places, be ready with your cash, because you gonna be out here like spending the money like it's water. So yeah, I would say yeah, just carry the cash. Nigerians never miss with the fashion. Absolutely agree, honey. Absolutely agree. I can attest to that. We do not play with the fashions. Girl, I'm sure you're laughing at what my mama said. Yeah, mom was like, girl, you better see you on Monday. See you on Monday, because you ain't got no job in Nigeria. So please see you on Monday. And yeah, I definitely got my ass back to England. And then, guys, story time. I got back to England and I was so depressed because I had such a good time in Nigeria, and I was so depressed for months. I actually ended up quitting that job. I even went into therapy because I was so depressed. I think having so much fun in Nigeria made me feel like, girl, you do not like your life in England. So you got to get it together. But I'm just honestly, I'm so grateful to God now because I feel like I'm in such a different space now. That was years ago, but it's like now I come back from holiday and I don't feel like, I'm in a difficult or like a terrible mental health or mental head space, because sometimes you be coming from holiday and you're just like, oh, I hate my life, and I just want to go back and stuff. So that was me when I first came back from Dirty December. It was, yeah, I had to recover, honey. I had to recover. But yeah, in the end, like once I like quit that toxic ass job that I was in and left that job, I was like, okay, now I'm creating a life that I don't have to take a break from. And then if I take a break, it's my choice. On that note, I have loved kicking with you guys so much today. So I'm going to come back soon, this evening, actually. I want to talk to you guys about the Drew, Sedora, and Ralph business. So I'm gonna come back live very soon. I just need to go Pilates class for about an hour and a little bit. So I will be gone for maybe like an hour and a half to 2 hours, but I will come back live tonight. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Well, it may not be tonight for you guys, so it will be afternoon for you guys, but tonight for me. So let me just go to Pilates. Let me come back, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the notification so that when I'm back on live, let's talk about Drew, Sudora, and Ralph, because I have lots of things to say. So let's come back after my class and let's talk about it. But let me see what Life by Design is saying. I'm in the US, but coming back from vacation get depressing for real. Completely agree. I think yeah, sometimes it's just like after vacation, you need a vacation because you're just like, my mental health, what is going on? But I think like I do think like if it's getting to the point where it's like so serious, then it's like, yeah, please be like me and get some therapy. I had to get some therapy and leave my job, so that I can get to a space where it's not like that bad. But yeah, anyways, thank you for hanging with me. I will see you guys in about an hour, 30 minutes to 2 hours. Maybe let's say 2 hours just to be on the safe side because I gotta leave now to drive to the place. It starts in about um 30 less than 30 minutes. And then it's for an hour. So yeah, let's say you guys will see me back live in about 2 hours. So I will see you soon. Live by Design, thank you for your like honestly, it's been so much fun having you guys. Brain Walk, it's been so much fun having you guys. Um Tide Spring, VC, Beyond My Own Thoughts, thank you so much for engaging. And yeah, I hope I see you guys very soon in 2 hours. So see you guys in 2 hours. And yeah, let's cut it up soon. But yeah, let me run to my class so I'm not late and I have to pay. So yeah, see you guys later. Bye. See you guys soon. Bye.